Hello, and welcome to the Architect of Games Mega Fantastic Q&A Extravaganza. In case you aren't aware, this is the follow-up to the 100 subscriber special video. Yes, that's how many subs I have, don't check. You guys have spent the past few days sending in questions, and now, shock surprise, I'm going to answer them. These questions have been helpfully curated for me by one of the screaming disembodied voices inside my head, so while my answers are scripted, they are my genuine reactions, so I just don't want to spend 5 minutes per question rambling about nothing. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Jack Karnek asks, what's a trend in gaming that you wish would go out of style? Well, I think my biggest bugbear of late are those kitchen sink open worldy games that vaguely hint at doing a bunch of stuff while providing next to nothing in the way of focus or actual vision. Ubisoft is one of the biggest guilty parties here. All the more recent Far Cry games are these shallow, repetitive games that string you along with cheap psychological manipulation into not exactly having fun, just playing more. These new MMO lights are pretty bad too. I've made my opinion on games like Destiny and now Anthem pretty clear, and ultimately my dislike stems from the same source. They're games that aren't really trying to say or do anything beyond keep you playing and buying microtransactions. There's no vision or truly interesting content because that sort of stuff requires taking creative risks and potentially being divisive, which means fewer players. I guess my answer is just capitalism, which I suppose isn't going away anytime soon. David Bishop asks, what trend do you want to see in games going forward, both as a player and as a YouTube person? Oh, it's like the opposite question, nice. I think I want to see riskier games that think outside the box more. I think there's a real tendency in basically all established media environments to stick with what works or to just cash in on nostalgia, but I think some really fantastic games came about because somewhere down the line, someone did something weird and experimental, and I'd love to see that attitude rewarded more. Whether that's cultist simulators, Lovecraftian solitaire, or Nier Automata as this unbelievably dense philosophical masterstroke, or the fact that a game like Super Smash Bros. Can exist at all in today's gaming climate, weird games are out there, I'd just like more of them please, because time has shown that people really do want something different and that weird experimental stuff will be rewarded if it's good. A bunch of people ask, who are your inspirations? Well, I've actually got a huge number of inspirations, but I will go with my top 3 because otherwise we'll be here all day. Third place would probably be CGP Grey. I know he makes very different content to me, but I've got to say that I've always really admired how he breaks down very complex ideas into digestible and easy to understand chunks without sacrificing the nuance, and that's something I really try for in my videos. Ideally without parroting source material that doesn't stand up to academic rigour, but hey, no one's perfect. Second would, quite obviously, be Mark Brown of Game Maker's Toolkit. As much as I sometimes make a few jokes at his expense, that comes from a position of huge professional respect. Mark and his content are informative, insightful, and insanely well produced. A lot of my early videos crib quite heavily from the GMTK style, and while I've definitely found my own voice since then, I owe the guy a lot, particularly for promoting the channel in the early days. But my biggest influence is, without a doubt, the late great John Total Biscuit Bain. The guy was very divisive and certainly had his shortcomings, but if there was one thing that could be said of TB for sure, it's that he loved video games. John was kind of this rock in the YouTube gaming scene. He had this strong sense of professional ethics, he was an uncompromising critic both of games and the wider scene, and I think, love him or hate him, that gaming in general is worse off for his absence. I would have loved to have met the guy before he passed, but I'll have to settle for trying to fill some very big, very British, and very cynical boots. Arlo Matez, Mates, I don't know, M-A-T-E-S, not sure how that goes. He asks, if you could remove Ohio from the USA and make it a part of Mexico, would you do it instantly or give the residents a month to learn Spanish? This is what I'm here for, like insane nuts questions that you have no business asking me. Okay, so basically this all depends on whether Ohio is being physically moved to Mexico or not. It's a little bit vague. If it's just being made into a Mexican territory, there's absolutely no way Ohio, a state hundreds of miles from Mexico, will not go into armed revolt almost immediately, so you may as well just do it without warning because that's how it will stay Mexican for the longest. If it's being physically moved, then I think education in Spanish is definitely the right play because that means it will stay in American territory, and while it will be a diplomatic clusterfuck either way, a month's notice for the global community that Ohio is about to teleport will probably be for the best in terms of, you know, helping people not to panic sort of thing. So, I guess if you're a supervillain looking for advice, there you go. Samadi asks, what word in the English language do you think is the weirdest? Oh man, okay, so there's actually a lot of weird ones. is a good one. That's a kind of lava. Yeah, it's literally spelled AA. Snollygoster is a fantastic insult that means a person just lacks ethics or principles. A puta is fun. It's a kind of apparatus for catching insects and bugs, and I find it funny because I'm a child. There's a bunch of old English words that dirty Americans and lovely foreigners learning a second language don't know, like bamboozle, flabbergasted, kerfuffle, shenanigans. But I think the winner of weirdest word has to go to floxinosinhilifilification, which is the act of finding something to be unworthy or not deserving of your time, much like trying to pronounce that word, which I've done entirely wrong, and I'll put a spelling of it on the screen, hopefully. A bunch of people ask, what's your favourite game? Okay, I actually hate the idea of having favourites. There is no game I like that doesn't have massive flaws, and I don't really like boiling artistic works into this is the best one, so I'll just list 10 games off the top of my head I really like, okay? Does that sound like a good compromise? Right. Fallout New Vegas, XCOM, Dark Souls, Nier Automata, Xenoblade Chronicles 1, all the rest suck, Thomas Was Alone, Deus Ex the original one, Super Mario Galaxy, Undertale, and I guess Endless Legend. That's pretty good. A lot of these games I've mentioned before, but that's all because they're good, I guess. Yeah, but by far, certainly not an exhaustive list, but there you go, that should keep you occupied for a bit. Aidan Kress asks, where did you get your mascot/logo? Oh, I wish I could answer this one in a satisfying way, but the correct response is, I actually don't really know. My little avatar is, I'm gonna level with you, it looks the way it does because it's easy to draw, and also trying to realise my true form in digital medium just kind of sets the computer on fire. The appearance is kind of based on a lot of things, like the Black Mage from Final Fantasy, I want to say 10, the Masters of the Bazaar from Fallen London, a bunch of stuff really. It's hardly a unique design, but I wanted something with a little bit of a mysterious edge and kind of a self-aware sarcasm, and this is what we ended up with. As for the name, in case you haven't noticed, I don't really talk about architecture a lot, and that's because it's actually a very dumb reference to an RPG I used to run, because I never thought very many people would watch this crap, so when you think about it, it's actually your fault. And as for what the character in more of an abstract sense is, I guess there's some sort of mysterious eldritch video game demon who holds strange and forbidden knowledge about the profane art of making plumbers jump over mushrooms. Ooh! Yeah, okay, I'll stop there. And finally, Cody Jordan asks, what in your opinion was your favourite or most important video? I don't know, I feel like my favourite and the most important aren't really the same video. The only video I've ever made that I can honestly say I like is the Nier Automata one. It's wall-to-wall me rambling about literature, and I love doing that. It's me desperately putting my degree to use for a game that totally deserves it. I'm really quite happy with how my reading ended up, even if it's one of my least viewed videos. As for the most important, I think that's got to go to how great games beat the grind, because it really kind of put the channel on the map. And while I think it's quality-wise kind of middle of the pack, it's a video that I think really summarises what I think sets my channel apart. I feel like a lot of games analysis people fall into one of two camps: dry, educational videos about the nuts and bolts of actually making video games, and the opposite, which are these much more personal videos about why someone likes or does not like a particular video game or concept within the broader media space. Both have their place, but I've always felt like there was some sort of middle ground that no one's really talking about. My channel isn't really a personal platform or really about telling people how games work, it's much more focused on why they work and the ways we can better understand the art form. Well, that got off topic, didn't it? So, I'll stop there. Thank you so much for your questions, and of course for getting me to that all-important 100 sub milestone. That's awesome, and I will have a real video up in a few days, okay? Right, bye!